Hello everyone, this is WussCake, and I will be doing a Resident Evil 3 any% tutorial for those of you who would like to learn. Now, the category that I run mainly is any%, and I will be showing you the current route that we currently use. And first you select Original Heavy, and any costume you choose doesn't make any difference, doesn't affect RNG in any way, it's just purely cosmetic. But the best speedrunners know that the best costumes are Special 6, 7, and Normal. So if you want to feel like you're hot shit, go right ahead and pick one of those three. We'll pick Special 7. And we'll go ahead. Let the cutscene rolls, and normally this will be where you start your timer when this cutscene loads. And before we get started, what you do is we're playing this game on PC, and you press F2. That's the default key, and your basic settings is you want to go ahead and have your video set up to whatever your default graphics card is. Some people play windowed, I play full screen. It doesn't really matter either way. I highly recommend you play keyboard. You can play game controller if you wish, but in my honest opinion, keyboard is much more easier to control your character. My current controls are laid out as you can see. They're a little bit cut off here, but I'll tell you what they are. Movement is, of course, WSAD, and you'll notice here that I have left and right hotkeyed to a button. They're both hotkeyed to E. There's a reason for this. There's a strategy called the Deke strategy, which allows you to pick up items faster. Before the text completely finishes, you can select yes and pick up the key. I will show you that when we get to the warehouse, when we pick up our first item. And whatever you want to set your keys over here. Attack, okay. This is going to be your X button, essentially. Dash, cancel, is going to be your square button. Aim opponent is going to be your R1. And aim barrel, or aim secondary target, whatever you want to call it, is going to be your R2 button. Map is the same button as your door skip button. So I recommend you set it to something comfortable. I have mine set to the space bar. Status, I have this set to L. Attack, okay, I have it set to K. Dash cancel, I have this set to J. Aim opponent, I have this set to O, and aim, I have this set to P. A lot of other runners use the numpad keys. They're more comfortable using the numpad keys, 8, 2, 4, 6, or whatever, to control their characters. And do whatever's comfortable. As much as I can tell you to do things, I can't tell you how to be good at being yourself. So just go ahead and pick whatever options are best for you. And lastly, before we get going here, click ETC and make sure everything is checked off. Or the default movies, the special cutscenes will play by themselves, they'll eat up time. Your graphics might have issues. And it pretty much just solves all the issues that you may have. So, just click everything off. Audio, video, whatever you want to pick from there on out. It's whatever. But I covered all the important stuff, so. Now, what you do when you start off, you just run into this zombie. You can go for a dodge here, if you would like to. It doesn't really matter. I don't go for the dodge because it only saves 1 second, and Jill regenerates health when she goes in this warehouse. So, I recommend you just take the grab, because if you miss the dodge, It costs a half a second.
September 28th, daylight.
And
the monsters have overtaken the city.
It's really not worth doing. Because sometimes, even if you get the dodge, that zombie can grab you before you climb the dumpster, and you'll waste 3 seconds. Alright. Alright, you'll spawn here in front of the Dario little dumpster thing, and you just run over here. You just run over here, up these steps, and we're going to grab the warehouse key. And now notice, what I'll show you is, every time you enter or leave a save room, as a general rule of thumb, it's almost always going to be a slow door. There are exceptions, but there are a lot of doors that are, what are called slow doors. They're doors that you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can go ahead and skip them optimally. Because if you just go ahead and you just mash your skip button, like here, I'll show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference, but you'll lose 0.3 seconds each time you just mash the skip button. If you're new to the game, and you're not really planning on posting a competitive time, you can pretty much just ignore this. But if you plan on getting like a sub 45 time, I recommend you follow this because it saves, I believe, 25 to 30 seconds cumulatively throughout the entire run. It's probably less, but I'm overestimating for dramatic effect. So, now, what most people are going to do when they speedrun is they're just going to mash the skip button when they open the door like this. Oh, not like that. Like this. As you can see, it does feel like it's a little bit slower. It seems like it's the same time to most of you, but if you time it, you will notice it is slightly slower. I can notice the lag slightly, but to most of you, if not all of you, it's going to seem much longer. So, what you want to do in a good beginner's starting strategy for memorizing the timing is you want to wait for the door to start moving. But optimally, I want you to watch the door, because as the door is moving towards Jill in the cutscene animation, you'll notice that there is a specific frame at which the door seems to lag, and that's when you want to press the skip button, because that's when the next room is fully loaded. And it loads slightly faster if you wait for it. If you just rush and go ahead and skip like this, it takes a little bit longer to load the room. But if you go ahead and you skip it at the right frame, it loads faster. Now watch this door animation. I'm going to watch the majority of it. You'll notice that the door lags very slightly. There. It's hard to see. There. Some doors don't show it at all. But what you want to do is you want to count to a certain time, or you just want to get it embedded into your muscle memory of when to skip. Another good starting tip is to wait for the music to completely die off before you press the skip button. Let's go into this room real quick. As you can see, I did it slightly too late. If you do it too late, you'll get the full sound animation. But if you do it a little early, like, I'm a little bad at this, you notice the sound effect cut off. See, the sound effect cuts off. So, judging by how quickly that sound effect cuts off, the door skip isn't bad. That's ideally the range you want to be at. But if you do it like this, if you get the full sound effect, you're skipping too early. See that there? That was a decent skip. Not great, but decent. And if you can get the skips like that on all the doors, it'll save you around like 20-25 seconds. And a good cue for it is to wait for the music to die off. Now, if you listen for the save room music or the Nemesis music, whichever's playing, to die off before you press the skip button, that's a good beginner's reference. Also, picking up the first item here. we're going to pick up the warehouse key. Now, first I'm going to pick up this key normally, just to show you as reference. You need this key to open the door, so you want to hold the select key so that the text scrolls fast. See how fast that text is? If you don't, it takes time for the text to load. So you always want to be holding the X button or the confirm key to speed up the text. And I mentioned earlier that I would be doing the Deke strategy. Notice, this is how fast it would normally take me to pick up an item if I just go ahead and mash the OK key, which is what I'm going to do here. Now watch. See how much longer that took me to pick up? I'll do it one more time with these gunpowders here, and I'll show you again just how slow it is. You see, there's a bit of a delay. However, I showed you in my keyboard settings, I have my E key set to be left and right. In this game, if you press left and right at all, when you're in the options, you can pick up your items quicker. We don't know why this is, but this was a strategy developed by Super Gamer that he noticed, that if you press left and or right as the text is finishing, you can pick up the items quicker. This also works for every in-game puzzle, and I'll show you that later. So, we're going to use the E key to press left and right, and since we're pressing left and right, the option will stay on the yes key. So we're going to say yes when we pick up these items. And yeah, we're just going to forget that just happened there. Okay, good. I thought I messed up there. Ignore that. And here we're going to pick up this item using the Deke strategy. Now watch how much faster this is. I picked up the item almost instantly. That wasn't a perfect Deke, but it was decent. I messed it up slightly. We'll do it again with the ink ribbon here. See how much faster that was? This tutorial is a little bit sloppy, so I apologize beforehand for that. We don't need any of these for the speed run, so naturally we're going to just put those away. But whenever you open up these save doors, going back to this slow door skip, you want to wait for the music to end as a basic timing. But the more you play this game, the more you'll learn about it. So you go down here and you use this key. You see how I selected yes really quickly? That's also Deke. The majority of doors in this game are fast. So you keep going along the path I'm going down, and here, sometimes Brad will come out of this early. Sometimes you have to go to the door and click OK. There, he came out of there early. Now here, there is rumored strategies. Like, if you are really lucky and or skilled, you can get into the basement and get out right now. But, that's a strategy I highly recommend you do not do. Because, as you can see, there are 4 zombies on the stairs, and zombies like to block you a lot in this game. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here, and we're going to reset the room. Now, go back here, and you'll notice the zombies are in different places. Sometimes zombies here, sometimes they'll behave, sometimes they'll walk right out, and you can run right through them. As you can see, I got bad zombies, and you usually will. And this is part of the reason I'm making the tutorial, is to make parts like this a little bit easier for both new and experienced runners alike. Because I've noticed that my strategies tend to differ slightly. There are certain ways I do things that are both better and worse, depending on if you have the skill to execute it. As you can see, this first zombie is Turbo, and he's running. Rule number 1 when you're dealing with basement turbo zombies upstairs, you either want to dodge them or take the grab. Do not run down the steps when there is a turbo zombie, because 9 times out of 10, he's going to do a U-turn, he's going to come down the steps and block you. So, what you want to do, if a zombie is turbo like this, you want him to come at you and either take the grab intentionally, or you want to go ahead and dodge him, like so, if he comes this way. As you can see, I didn't do that perfectly, but I got the dodge perfectly, but I mistimed the pause button. Anyways, when you dodge him like that, you can usually run down the steps, because you threw off his line, and even if he's still turbo, it's going to take him about 7-8 seconds before he can get down the stairs. And you can usually get out of the basement before he finds his way back to the door. But you can also take the grab intentionally, and you can just shove them off like I did. Now, there's a lot of little things I'm going to explain here. I'm probably going to forget some things, so please ask if you have questions. But I want you to notice that I just took a bite on purpose here. So I'm going to go downstairs, and there's going to be a zombie waiting for me. You can dodge him, but if you've already gotten bitten, you do not need to dodge him. If you mash down here quick enough, after you've taken a bite, you can almost always shove the zombie off before he bites you. If you get bit once in a room, you have about a 7-second period, roughly, maybe a little bit less, where if you get grabbed by a zombie and you mash quickly enough, the moment you get grabbed, you can shove him off. If you can do this, this alleviates a lot of stress on the speed run, because if Jill gets bit by 5 zombies, she goes into caution. When Jill is in caution, she runs considerably slower, and she turns slower as well. If it's just for a couple of rooms, it's not a huge deal, but if you're running from, say, the pharmacy to the train on caution, you're probably going to lose about 15 seconds. And that's if nothing bad happens. So, I just got bit by Jill. I'm going to run down here and take the grab on purpose. And I want you to watch as I get grabbed. You see how I shoved him off? You didn't hear the bite noise, so Jill took no damage. Even though I was grabbed, I mashed quickly enough, so I was able to shove him off without taking a bite. So, there's a shotgun in this room if you really want to, if you just want to do super safe strategies, but I'm making this tutorial in mind for people who want to get time in the ballpark of 45 minutes or so, or better. So, if not, that's fine. You can use safe strategies. There is a shotgun here, but I'm going to presume that the people who are watching this want a better time. So, you shove the zombie off, use a deke strategy, pick up the lighter fluid, and here. This is really bad RNG because the zombie is turbo, and this is one of the new basement strategies I wanted to show you. There are other strategies that I can't show you in this tutorial all at once. If you swing by my stream and watch me speedrun Resident Evil 3, you will see my other strategies that I will explain, but I can't cover everything in this one tutorial. Now, what you can do here, and this doesn't always work, when this zombie is on the steps like this, what you can do is you can aim your gun and shoot at him, because zombies don't grab you when you're on the stairs like this. They'll puke at you, which does 10 damage. Jill has 200 health, and if she gets down to 100 or less health, she goes into caution. So one puke by itself is not bad, because Jill can still take 4 grabs and be okay. You don't want to have to use a first aid spray until you are going into your book statue second time later on in this run. So, I'm going to go ahead and shoot the zombie. Hopefully he cooperates, because this does not always work. Oh, okay, he grabbed me anyways. Sometimes he'll do it anyways. I'm going to try to do another strategy here. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to wait for the zombie to step forward slightly. This is a second strategy. that I try to use. Where the zombie is standing right now, he also likes to stand up at the top of the steps like this. What you can do, if you do not want to get completely boxed in by the zombie, if you do it properly, you can squeeze by the zombie and only take puke damage, and you can sort of push him out of the way without dodging him. It's a little hard to explain, but I'll try to show you. It's a lot easier shown than it is done. I will attempt to do this, but when you're on the steps like this, usually the zombie will always try to puke on you. So, I'm going to try to show you what I'm going to do here. Alright, never mind. I guess the zombie just wants to grab me. So forget I said any of that, but usually that zombie tries to puke on you. So, you can usually scoot around him to the side. If the zombie's turned to the left, you can scoot to his right if he's at the right angle. If he's turned to the right a little bit, or facing straight forward, sometimes you can squeeze to the left and get by him. But it's difficult. You can also just shoot him with the handgun. But since that is relatively slow, and I'm going to assume most of you are not very good at quick shots, because quick shotting, even for someone like me, or the other super experienced speedrunners, it's difficult. Because sometimes this game just doesn't want to give you your inputs. So, back here. These zombies out here can be anywhere. So expect to mash, or expect to dodge. So we're going to step out here. As you can see, dodge him. That should have been a dodge. This game is not cooperating with me. I'm going to grab one of these. You normally don't want to grab those herbs ever, because picking items is really slow. But since this is a tutorial, I really don't care. So, you go out here. These zombies can run at you and grab you. Any zombie in this game can run at you and grab you. Be fully prepared for that. Now what you do here. Here, there are two different lines you can take. When Brad shoots the zombie down, the zombie can either fall forward, or he can fall backwards. If the zombie falls forward, you want to run to the zombie's right. If the zombie falls backwards, you want to run to his left. Now we're going to play this forward, and we're going to see which way Brad knocks the zombie down. Here, you can see the zombie fell to his knees, so he's going to fall forward. However, I am about 1 pixel away from being grabbed, so I may just have to eat this grab and be salty about it. Sometimes that zombie in the blue t-shirt, you'll notice that zombies in blue t-shirts are generally scumbags. So they like to walk early. They like to run at you. I mean, they're no different than any other zombie, but I noticed the zombies in the blue t-shirts tend to be more rude than anyone else. So I'm going to attempt this zombie. I'm going to attempt to dodge him, because he's too close for me to run by him. So, yeah, as you can see, he was literally 1 pixel away. Slow door. You skip this. You spin around. And normally this is where you help Brad kill the zombie. But Brad kills the zombie here no matter what. And you can just go ahead and you can just open up this door. And Brad will kill the zombie anyways. So you go over here. You pick up the lighter fluid. Slow door. You run back out here. And you run back up this alley. Now be careful. There's a zombie here. You see? Right there. That's why we call the zombie in the blue t-shirt a scumbag zombie. Scumbag Steve. Or whatever you want to call him. Sometimes he'll just move out on his own at the last second and block the hallway, and he'll grab you. If he doesn't move, you can run by the zombie. You can run along this wall and not get grabbed, but as you can see, this zombie moved early, so you want to wait for him. You want to wait for him to take about a full step. Here there is 3 full RNGs that can happen. Nothing major, At the worst, it costs you a second. Either the gate falls when you use the lighter, the gate falls early, which saves you a second, or the gate falls right before you can get to the gate, and it costs you a second. So let's see which RNG we're going to get. Alright, we got the OK RNG. So you mix the lighter fluid, and you use it. Now the gate will break. This is OK RNG. You don't want to touch any of those zombies, obviously. There's nothing there except the red herb. And you're going to run up here. You run through here. Normally fancy cutscene plays, but you have it disabled in the menu. Quick decision. Pick the first option. You want to U-turn immediately and run through the door. The Nemesis should never hit you. There's green herbs at the very beginning if you absolutely need it. Here there are 2 different RNGs you can get in this room. So, here we're going to see what RNG we got. Sometimes you get good RNG and the path you take is clear. Sometimes you get bad RNG and there's a zombie near this corner, and there's a zombie on the ground. We call him Bad Marvin. There's a line you can take to get by him, but it's very hard to take. We got good RNG. There's no Marvin. There's no zombie on the ground. You can pick up this gem either now, or you can pick it up on the way back. I normally pick it up on the way back, but whichever you do is more comfortable. Now, here, there are 4 puzzles. There are 4 puzzle solutions to this. Most puzzles in this game have 4 solutions. So, the 4 solutions for this puzzle are 0131, 4011, 4312, and 0513. In my experience, 4312 and 4011 tend to be the most common. However, I believe that it changes every so many hours, because what I've noticed is whenever you get a puzzle solution, it either changes like every single time when you reset, or it likes to favor the same 2 puzzle solutions. Because I've gotten multiple runs where it gives me 4312 like 3-4 times in a row, and then sometimes it'll just switch every single time for the next 5 or 6 resets. Sometimes it'll switch back and forth between 0513 and 4011. Anyways, we're going to see which puzzle solution we got. You use the Deke strategy here. Here, I'll show you why you use the Deke strategy. This is me trying to enter that's me trying to enter the password as quickly as I can without the Deke. And here is when I use the Deke. Inputs are much faster, yes? So here, we're going to start doing the, we're going to put in the first puzzle. We're going to put in 0131. It's not that. Oh, wrong input. 4011 was not it. 4. Oops. As you can see, it was 4312, and my inputs are not exactly on, great pace today, but thankfully it's a tutorial and I don't have to worry about that. So here, for this room, for this setup, you'll notice Barbie here. Most people just hold up and left and run. What I've noticed that does is it aggroes the Barbie a little bit earlier and increases her chance to grab you. So what you want to do here is you want to pre-turn slightly, and you want to sort of take a diagonal line so that when you get close to Barbie, you are almost touching the wall. So that when she aggroes, you're already almost by her. So, watch how I take this line, and this is ideally the line you want to take. Like so. You just run by that zombie. If you just hold up and left, not like that. Most people just hold up and left and run along the wall like that when they're dodging that Barbie zombie. but you don't want to do that. You go here, you pick up the lockpick, and you skip that door, because there's like there's a cutscene that triggers that Carlos tries to talk to you on this radio. What you can do here, if you're really low on health, you can run here and grab this first aid spray. I'm going to do it just because, well, why not? It's a tutorial. And here is my biggest gripe with the game, as well as almost every other speedrunners. The evidence locker. Supposedly, there's a 50-50 chance you can get either a grenade launcher or a magnum. Now, I'm going to bet a lot of money that there's a magnum in this locker with my name embroidered on it. Because this evidence locker does not like me. But supposedly, there's a 50-50 chance you can get a grenade launcher or a magnum. If you get a magnum, you can continue the run with it, but it's an entirely separate route, and it makes the game a little bit harder to finish, unless you want to waste 30 seconds and pick up the grenade launcher at the fuse box. But I'll explain that when we get to the fuse area. There is a route that you can finish the game with the magnum, but I do not recommend it. However, I can explain it if you would like in the description, or I can give you an explanation in my Twitch stream, whichever you feel more comfortable with. I can't explain everything in this one tutorial. So, let's see what RNG we got. Ah, see? My good old buddy. Never fails me. Friends to the end. Sometimes that fat zombie will run out early. I was almost tempted to kill the Nemesis there for fun. There is a bee powder here, but obviously we don't touch it for the sake of the speedrun. You just run through here, and the Nemesis will never catch you, unless you get stuck on a wall or something. So you just run out this door. There's herbs there if you need it. You leave the RPD, and we head down here. There's going to be bloodsuckers that are going to spawn there when we come back. And I'll explain that later. There are dogs here, but dogs in this game are not threatening, really. You can usually just run right by them. Here, you want to take this line, you want to run on the outside edge a little bit to pull that dog. If you hug the left wall, he'll bite you. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and call this part of the tutorial a break. I will resume from this spot of the speedrun in another video.